What's up, everybody? My name is Brandon McCollum, also known as BMXC, and this is Nice Minds. I'm with a very, very, very special guest today, Amanda Yang. What's good, Amanda? How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, considering this crazy, crazy year. It's just been
Right.
insane.
Can you believe it's
Insane.
been a year already
Yeah,
since this all started? That's wild to me.
it's so wild,
Yeah, I feel like I'm a lot older than I am
right?
because of that. Like
Same.
a lot of struggle, a lot of like, do you ever get, you know how like there's not a lot of sun in the winter time, so we're just a
Oh,
little bit
yeah.
more depressed than usual?
Yep.
I feel like we felt like five of those this one
Yeah.
year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, especially this year. That's crazy you mentioned that. Lately, it's just been hitting me hard. I mean,
Mhm.
it's weird. I get from like late December till like April, I get this like seasonal affective stuff that
Mhm.
just like it's like no matter what I do, I just cannot shake it. It's the craziest thing, and it's just this
Yeah.
gloomy weather. But enough about sad stuff. Let's get into you. So I actually know of you through a bunch of people. I think I was first aware of you through Kenny Gray.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, so I can't remember when, but probably like 4 or 5 years ago, I think I became aware of you. I don't know if
Oh, wow.
he told me about you or what, but I checked out your music and I was like, wow, she's really dope. And
Thank
I
you.
actually have a Amanda Yang playlist
Oh, that's so
on the
cool.
Apple Music because like I just make playlists of different artists that I like or whatever. And so anytime you drop a song that I like, I just throw it in there, and I think it's
Thank you.
up to like 20 songs now. So I've been a fan for a while now. And then I started working with Miles Graves and his company, and then you were always being talked about then too.
Oh, cool.
So your name just keeps popping up in different circles, and I wanted to get you on here to talk and kind of get your background and chit chat a little bit.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for even asking me. I used to be like really camera shy and like just I was so focused on just like making music for the past since I was like what 16 and talking to other people about making music was so weird to me, but I've realized that like it's totally normal to have these conversations and you don't need to keep any type of like visual facade or whatever for social media. Like that's just all like this weird stuff that I used to think way back when I was starting. So it's really cool to get on podcasts and just talk with people, especially like you. Like you, Miles, Kenny, I feel like we're all in this um would you say it's like a some type of there's like a music culture or group
Yeah,
in Minnesota that we're just all like in tune in and it's really cool to be a part of.
yeah, and I feel like it's getting tighter, as
Mhm.
time goes on too. I've been talking to a lot of people about this, how much unity over the last few years I've really felt from the community, and just meeting tons of new people, and relationships just getting stronger and stronger. So yeah, definitely, there's definitely this tight knit community that's building and forming, and I love it.
Yeah.
What is your background in music? When did you get started singing and stuff?
I started singing from a really young age. My mom used to sing lullabies to me all the time and I started just like casually singing around the house, blah, 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 when I was probably in kindergarten. And then I did a talent show in third grade that was like, yeah, I'm a singer. Like, I want to be a singer. And then my mom put me into like some acting, dancing, singing, like extracurriculars when I was in elementary. And then I did choir all throughout my school years. I was in concert choir in college. And so that's like where my formal training is when it comes to like technique for like singing and like reading music and stuff like that. But I taught myself how to play guitar when I was like 14 or 15 off of YouTube and started posting covers and stuff like that. And then that's when I really started trying to like rewrite the big hits, and doing like a female response or just making my own stuff and putting it out there for people to like watch and listen to on YouTube.
That's amazing. Yeah, you do a lot of covers. I just heard your cover of Midnight Sky by Miley Cyrus. It was dope.
Thank you. That was a really fun one to do and kind of complicated because I can't hit some of those notes. So it was a lot of like modifying with instrumental to try to figure out what I could do to still bring the song like justice, but also make it my own at the same time.
When did you start recording and actually like laying down your tracks?
2017 is when I started actually, like, recording my vocals, and, like, putting it all on Spotify and, like, those, distribution platforms, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and like, stopped doing YouTube for a while. I still haven't, like, really posted much like how I did when I was in high school and in, like, college. But that's when I started doing the more, like, official sounding stuff.
You're relatively new to that then.
Yeah, I started out who I met this guy who, like, was really great hype person who, he was just like, "Hey, like, you need to you're a great singer, like, you need to do this, like, you need to bring it to the next level, let's go." And I was like, "Okay." And so I met a group of like, a handful of people who were super talented, and, I listened to episode 10 with Miles in it, like, right before I hopped on, and the person who was, like, the first, studio I ever, like, stepped into and, like, recorded, like, first, like, original song with, like, the vocal-wise was with Derek Branch when he was, like, charging hourly to, like, record people and stuff like that, and I remember going in there in 2017, like, that summer of, and he was recording me, and he's like, "Dude, you don't why are you here? Like, you don't need me. Like, this is really easy to do. Like, you could totally do this and just send it to me and I can just mix it for you, but you really don't have to be here. You know exactly what you're doing and like your vocals need like very minimal tuning." And so I was like, "What does that even mean?" Like I I don't really understand. I'm just here because like I'm trying to make it to the next level or whatever
Right.
people want to call it. And he just basically told me like you don't need anybody, like maybe just think about just doing it yourself and you could really capitalize and like keep everything. And I like that was the nicest thing and like most honest thing anyone's ever told me because at the time the person I was working for wanted like a massive cut in what I was doing. Thinking back now was really unfair.
Mhm.
And so he was just kind of like looking out for me in a sense when we had like just first met, which I thought was really awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I noticed a lot of your original songs are like collaborations with different
Hmm.
producers. How do you usually go about finding different people to collaborate with like that?
I've got a lot of really weird, unconventional ways that I've done it. I've met producers through Tinder. Um,
Oh, wow.
just yeah, like
Interesting.
super fucking random, and that was actually how it snowballed. So in 2017, I met this producer through Tinder, and like I just wrote like that I sing, blah blah. I like my song on my profile was my song like on Spotify, and I met this guy who produced EDM music but hadn't released anything yet, and we matched and I was like, "Hey, do you want to make a song?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we from there moved it to like real person, made a song. He didn't like it. We ended up scratching the whole thing. And then a year later, he had another song that he wanted to do. And we ended up working on that song and releasing it. Um, and so then I believe in like 2018, we released a song together. And that's when I was able to kind of like, I don't know, like have something in my catalog that shows like I could be on these type of tracks. And then his friends started reaching out to me um to like work on those specific type of like top lining tracks and collaboration features, um whatever you want to call it. And then that was one way I was reaching people. Another way is just like adding uh being a part of like a bunch of Facebook groups that do music and just kind of like pitching yourself out there, just like commenting on people's posts or finding people through Instagram and hashtags are my best friend. Um, Currently, I've been finding a lot of people through TikTok, which has been super
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, like people I would have like I've never seen or heard of before, but they're just so freaking talented. And I would follow them and comment on their videos, and they would follow me back and then comment on my videos, and I would like slide in the DMs, be like, "Hey, like let's work together." We would make some crazy shit. And now I have like two songs pending on release that I finished with two separate artists who are just like super talented, and I'm super excited for the world to hear them.
That's what's up. Congrats. Yeah, and your latest song, 21,
Yeah.
that's with this producer, what, Chrono is his name?
Yep, yeah, they are a French duo.
Oh, okay.
I think they're brothers, and that one came through just like a lot of people just email me through just my music email, and they'll ask if like I'm down to collaborate. And it was actually their manager that hit me up.
Oh, cool. That's amazing. I love that song, by the way. That's one of my
Thank
favorite
you.
songs I think you've released. I think it's amazing. So that's really interesting that you started collaborating with people on Tinder. Do a lot of musicians do that? Is that a
I don't
thing?
know. I don't know. I have
Like,
no idea.
'Cause it's crazy. Cause I mean, I always joke about this with my girlfriend, Tinder wasn't even a thing when we started dating, because we started dating,
Mm,
like, a decade ago, so it was, like, released, I think, like, the next year, so we have no idea what, these dating apps are still. I mean, we hear
mhm.
about it and stuff, but, like, we don't have them, so, um, I always just assumed that Tinder was just for, like, hooking up and stuff, so
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
I
really
mean,
interesting. That's cool, though.
it's really funny because I was doing this, like, when I was single, right? It's, like, like, before I met, like, my boyfriend and everything, but even then, like, when I met my boyfriend, I was like, "Hey, would you be opposed to the idea of, like, me using Tinder, still not, like, to meet people, but use like, literally just so people can see my face and listen to my music and just make them go on a scavenger hunt to see if they'd, like, look like, what I would say is, like, my profile would be on Tinder, and it'd be like, "If you can find my Facebook profile and screenshot and send it to me, I'll be super impressed," and, like, everybody would just go through, they'd find my music, and like, in the search to look for me, and then they would message me and say, like, "Oh my gosh, like, I didn't know you sang, like, I like your music, blah, blah," and I, like, used that as a way to just, like, get people to search for me, and then got them that way.
That's badass. That's super cool. That's really impressive. I wouldn't even think of that. That's genius.
I thought it was just, like, more fun and cool, like, a different way to just get people engaged without not necessarily tricking them, because you can't even send, like, screenshots through
Right.
Tinder, like, you can't send pictures, um, but it was cool. So I had an understanding with my boyfriend, they're like, "Yeah, let's just do it, like, let's see how many more like, people you can get the attention of," and that was fun.
That's super cool. So what would you suggest to like a younger singer who's extremely talented but just getting started and they have no idea where to take their music?
I guess what I would tell them is to find, like, maybe 3 people they look up to, like, already in the industry, and dig up every single thing you can about that person and do what they did because they got to where they were today because of what they've done, right? So I would like read their bios, see what they studied, see who they talked to, what their like habits were during the day and like maybe replicate that. Um and also just practicing like every single day. So even cuz I've been through these like phases where I didn't sing for months and that affects you,
Yeah,
like, your voice just does not sound as good when you're not practicing every single day, so, practice every single day, even if it's for, like, 5 or 10 minutes, because that helps you a lot, and YouTube is, like, the king, the queen of finding, voice exercises to, like, strengthen XYZ, whatever you're trying to like, whatever dynamic you're working on, um, YouTube is great for that, and it's free, and then also like cultivating a group of people around you who you trust, who you can go to for like advice. And like don't be afraid to email someone who you think is like too high. The worst thing they can say is no and get really really comfortable with rejection because that is all this is. It's just
absolutely.
it's a numbers game and you just got to get really comfortable with people saying no. I'm still like getting there. It's really hard, you know? Um, but and it hurts your feelings because you put so much work into, like, what you do and, like, your heart and your soul, and when someone rejects it, you're like, "Wow, like, I'm not good enough," but just realize that you are not the sum of that one project or that one song, so and it's just an opinion, like, the next person might just love it, so it's not a big deal.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm 35 and I'm still kind of finding my way. So that I mean, even with what you said, that resonates with me as well. I mean, because I've had so many setbacks and so many
Mhm.
failures and rejections and no's and stuff like that. But you know, I keep trying, I keep going,
Mhm.
and those little wins, they stack up over time. And
Mhm.
you just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep trying.
I listened to this podcast, by Lewis Howes. It's called The School of Greatness. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
I started listening to him, like, a few years ago, and I listen to him mostly when I, like, need some inspiration, and he talks about or he had an interview with this guy that basically, explained that, like, we get so caught up in the end goal that we don't reward ourselves for doing all the hard work, so when we get to the end goal or whatever it is we want, it doesn't feel good, like how we thought it would feel,
Yeah.
and so a lot of it's just, like, being mindful, like, in the moment and, like, patting yourself on the back for literally every single little thing that you do, like, For you even like creating this podcast and like like recording it and editing it, all the little things, and then one day you're gonna have like a million
Yep.
listeners wanting to listen to you, and that's not gonna feel as great if you don't appreciate all the tiny little steps you took to get there.
Yeah, exactly. I think you almost need to just enjoy the journey, even
Hmm.
more than the rewards, and that end goal. Patience is key.
Literally, patience and persistence. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
What are some of the major obstacles that you've had to overcome in your career?
I think the biggest one in my life was like my own confidence versus like what I was hearing externally.
Yep.
My parents, like, when I was in high school, they thought like my music and stuff was so cool and they loved it and everything. But once I got into college and I still like for whatever reason had this burning fire in me that still wanted to do it and not like, get a traditional um chemistry or like doctor or like lawyer degree or all that fun stuff. Um that's when I heard a lot of like opposite opinions, basically letting me know that that's not gonna make you money, and basically, like, letting people tell me that my worth equals a dollar amount that
Mhm.
I can accumulate for myself was, a huge thing I had to overcome and realize, like, that's not correct. That is not worth. Like,
Yep.
money is not your worth. That's very I don't know, I feel like that's just, like, what you are told when you're, like, when you're a first generation, your parents have given up so much, they couldn't even chase their dreams, like, they expect the same out of you, which I understand where they're
Yeah.
coming from.
Where are your parents from?
My mom and dad are from Laos and Thailand, I believe. I get them 2 mixed up, I don't know which one came from which, but, yeah, they came over after the Vietnam War, and, um, my mom has her bachelor's degree and was working on her master's, and I feel like I'm definitely, like, the black sheep of the family because everybody else is doing some, like, normal great stuff, and I'm just over here singing singing songs.
No, but you're amazing though. I mean, I feel like it's only a matter of time, and I mean, s- what I heard that you have like over 20 million streams on Spotify, like collectively.
I think that was for last year, so right now I have over 95, for sure over, like,
Jeez.
95,000,000. Yeah, but I don't know. You know that thing where I said you get so focused on the end goal that it doesn't feel big?
Right.
Yeah, so I still have to try to connect and, like, really appreciate what I did because that still doesn't do anything. Like, I feel like I could do better. I don't even know. It's like this horrible cycle that I have to, like, regulate in myself.
I completely relate to that. I mean, it's really hard. I mean, especially at my age when I'm, 35 and I'm doing okay and, stuff like that, but the dollar amount thing that you were talking about. I mean, that's what I have to constantly remind myself of is like I'm not my self-worth is not a dollar amount. Like it should
Mhm.
not be dependent on that. And
Right.
I've had so many different successes and yeah, I've had a bunch of failures, but you know, I'm building a business and people recognize me for what I do and
Mhm.
I've had all these little wins, so it means something. I just got to
Mhm.
keep at it and keep going. So yeah, I highly commend you for, doing your own thing and deciding that's where your heart is because I mean, I know that you're gonna just keep improving and keep getting better
Thank
and
you.
keep this up, because you're extremely impressive. As far as 2020 goes, what kind of obstacles did you have to overcome last year in particular?
I'm gonna tell you something that I don't, like, tell the public ever usually, like, I kinda keep it on the deal because I don't know why, probably just an ego thing, but in 2020, I was still working so I was working part-time at a restaurant, and that's kinda where I was just, like, making the money that I could use just to specifically go toward my bills, my, like, every month bills that I had, to sustain my living, and then when the pandemic hit, you know how they shut down restaurants for, like, a really hot minute, and then we were just home?
Right.
Well, I used that time the first time we shut down, I didn't use that time, I wasted it. Oh, I, like, worked on my body and health and blah, 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 but I didn't work on my music, and then I really regretted it, went back to work, and I realized, like, "Wow, what am I doing? I had so much time." Like, I really, like, royally fucked that up. Sorry, am I allowed to swear?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you're good. Fuck
So
shit, whatever.
the second time we got shut down, I took that time and I was like working on my music. Like I was like really putting in a lot of work into it because like this is what I want to do. Like what the fuck am I doing? I'm just fucking around and living life, not trying to chase my goals. And so I started working on my music during the second shutdown, and then I realized like when I was putting like overtime into my work and not using work as an excuse to not have enough time, because for whatever reason I always had the excuse that I didn't have enough time, but that was just me like not having enough time.
Yep.
Like it was a priority, wasn't a priority, so I made it one. Worked really hard on that music, started having like a streamline of like projects coming out, and then when they wanted me to go back to work, I was just like hit with this realization, like, do I want to, like, I'm here because I'm making money to pay my bills, but if I just double down on my music, I don't need this part-time job.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? It's a safety net for, like, that I don't think I'm gonna succeed, to make just a couple of bucks or whatever with my music. So I ended up leaving in 2020, right at the end of 2020, and then just kind of like going for it. I like saved up enough, basically for like the next year and a half, and like absolute minimal expenses that I have to pay in order to go and like survive, and just giving myself the chance to really just do music with no part-time job or anything. Just kind of see where I can go when all my time is committed to it. And so far, it's been really cool because I like reached out to Miles right when I did it, and I was like, "Hey, let me tell you what my goals are." And then he goes, "Oh, that's crazy. You want your songs on TV? Like, I'm working right now with something like that. I think I have an opportunity for you." And then we started meeting, and then like that just went in a whole cool direction where I get to try out every like facet of music type jobs or whatever and see, I don't know, what works and what fits and all that fun stuff.
That's awesome. That's very similar to what Kenny Gray did as well. Like at the
Yeah.
exact same time, it
Yeah, he's
seems
actually
like.
the one who inspired me.
Really, I figured because
Yep.
it sounded very similar. I mean, like your story with what you're telling me with how you saved up and quit your job and yeah. So did you do that in December then, right? Like after he did?
Yep. Literally right at I think I started in January. So he was like posting a lot of cool stuff on TikTok, and me and Kenny are actually working on, we have a cover that we're doing together that's finished. We just have to pick a date to release it. And we have been like pretty like open about like what we're doing, like the struggles, and keeping each
Yep.
other on basically on task basically. And that's been a really cool friend to have for sure, like in your circle. He's super
Oh,
talented,
absolutely.
such a go-getter dude, and really brutally honest, which is what
Yep.
everybody needs.
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. I'm not sure if you saw the episode that I did with him. I did an episode with him, and I mean, I've known him for like 4 or so years at this point, but that dude never ceases to amaze me. I mean,
Yeah,
his most recent song, "Wow," I mean that
so
shit,
good.
that's a hit. Like that is a
Mm-hmm.
hit, and
Yep.
the stuff he's been doing on TikTok and just how much he's been growing and evolving. It's just been insane to watch.
Oh, I think I realized where you said you heard from me through Kenny. Um, in 2017, he asked me to be like one of the openers in his like show that he was throwing at that coffee house at the depot, I think.
Oh, at the depot?
Yeah, and so I don't know if maybe that's when.
Maybe because that's when I started working with him, and
Hmm,
I think it was 2017. It was either 27 or early 2018.
hmm,
I put him on a few shows because I was, heavily booking shows at that time.
cool.
I think we were gonna get you on one, but the timing didn't work out for whatever reason.
Mm.
Um, I can't remember why that was. But that's awesome that you got a song with him though. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Me too, and also talking about just working on original stuff together is really exciting too.
I'm really trying to get back into producing this year.
Yeah.
Because I think we talked about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a hip hop dude, through and through, but I listen to way more pop music than I do hip hop these days. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I was raised on hip hop. I mean, ever since I was like little ass kid.
Mhm.
But pop has just been especially indie pop. That's just been my thing lately.
Oh, I love to hear that.
All I listen to, but it's really driving me crazy that all I've produced is is hip hop at this point. Which I mean, it's not a bad thing, obviously, but I really, really, really want to get into producing pop. So I'm trying to teach myself more music theory. Because I'm a very sample based dude. You know, I come from like chopping, old samples and stuff like that, and making hip hop beats and stuff like that. So I'm trying to
Mhm.
learn chord structures and all that stuff. And it's a challenge. It's a new
It's so
challenge.
hard. I honestly don't even know it that well, like, and I, like, studied it.
Right. It's hard. I mean, and I went to IPR and I took like
Mhm.
3 music theory classes, and for whatever reason, it just did not stick in my head. And I'm like kicking myself for it because I really want to learn it. And it's funny because my mom actually told me that when I was 7, because she never pushed me to like do anything. She never like made me do anything. But when I
Yeah.
was 7, she asked if I wanted to take piano lessons, and I said no.
Do you regret that today?
Right? Like, why didn't you make me take piano lessons? Like,
Right.
drag me to those piano lessons kicking and screaming. Like,
Mhm.
I swear that I don't know, if I ever have kids, like, I'm gonna like, whatever. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna make them do that shit, even
I
though
feel like
like,
they'd appreciate it.
yeah, later on they would appreciate that. Um, so what are your like ultimate career goals? Like, where do you see yourself in the next like 4 or 5 years, or hope to see yourself?
I hope to see myself basically, where my music is creating income for me to the point where I can start investing it in other things besides music, whether that stocks or like properties or something like that. Basically, making enough to cover my bills, leisure, and like future business adventures is where I want to get. But also, I'd love to. Right now, my goal is like to get a song that I worked on television or in a movie or anything. That's one solid goal I have. I'd love to have a really small short EP, maybe 4 or 5 tracks of just original music out or ready to be out and like, just finished. And
Yeah, I think I was gonna ask you about that because you don't have any like just Amanda Yang EPs or
yeah.
albums.
Mhm. And so I wanna work on that. I've been so busy doing, like, collaborations and, like, working on other stuff and not really focusing on, like, Amanda Yang solo stuff, and I've realized that, before you had asked me, like, what was, like, a hurdle I have to get over, and a lot of that's just I don't produce, like, to the extent of a lot of the people I work with, and so one way I got around that so I could start releasing music, even if it was a collaboration, was collaborating with other
That makes sense.
people. And so that was, like, my way of getting original music out there too. Because usually, like, 95% of the songs that are originals, 97 I wanna say just 99%, yeah, of the songs that are originals, collaborations, I've top lined them all. Like, they come with the instrumental, I top line it, create the harmonies, ad libs, everything, and it's really like a 50-50 type of collaboration type of thing. But I've realized that because and this sucks to admit, but because my name is secondary, right? Um, I don't get the same type of retention that I would like, even if it was the story and the song that I had like helped contribute to. It's not necessarily my song. That's not how people usually view it because when you click the song and then you click the artist, it'll go to the first person that
Yep.
is listed and it doesn't take you to the second person. So I'm just like, I need to start working on the solo stuff because like I want people to know like my story and all that fun stuff.
You have a DAW to like, get started on your own producing?
Yeah, I do. I use Logic
Oh, okay. Nice.
10. I just made a track actually from like
Sweet.
scratch. I was really proud of myself.
That's badass.
I finished the song and everything, and I sent it to Miles, and we're working on like he's just kind of fine tuning it, like the
Yeah.
engineering stuff, and so that'll be interesting to see how it comes out. It's so different, like it's not EDM, right? So it's like a sound that I feel is true to me. So it'll be really interesting to see how that pans out.
So it's not EDM. So is it more like singer-songwritery, or is it more like upbeat? Like what kind of style is it, you think?
Yeah, it's that indie
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet.
so I'm excited for it. It kind of sounds like a mix of Conan Gray and um I was inspired by that one girl, Clairo. She has a
Oh,
song
yep,
called, like,
yep.
Hot
I'm
Cheetos or
familiar
something
with her.
like
Yep.
that. Yep, so I was inspired by, like, just the rhythm and, like, the how, like, unfiltered her voice was. It was just very raw sounding. So it was that mixed with a little bit I started writing it right after her driver's license, and I was like, "Okay, like, let's just make it a thing."
That's cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, cause I mean, if you know, like, if you've been playing all your life pretty much and, like, song structure and you know that there's no reason why you can't teach yourself
Yeah.
to produce and to make your own tracks and stuff like that. Cause it's really all about sound selection. Um, Sound selection is the biggest thing because, I know some people that are just brilliant musicians, but they just can't choose the right sound. So, yeah, the music is there, but if you don't know how to pick your sounds, it just doesn't come out right.
It took a while. I basically just realized, like, if I'm gonna really wanna become a songwriter, I'll have to have more than just the MP3 file of me
Yep.
singing it, with my guitar. Like, I
Yep.
have to figure out how to digitize it and, map it out.
Yeah, and I'm in a similar thing like I said with my production because I'm
Mhm.
really I have the sound selection down. Now I'm just like kind of reverse, like I have the reverse problem really because like now I just gotta like figure out how to actually play it.
I feel like we could help each other out here.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to collaborate with you. I've been, like I said, I've been a fan for a minute, so I would love that. That'd be
That'd be
amazing.
amazing. Yeah, I'm so down. I want to I realized recently that, um I don't know why it takes me so long to realize these things. Like, there's like,
Oh,
just a
yeah,
little slower than the
same,
most, like
same.
everybody. But you can't put your eggs in one basket, right? Like,
Yep,
you can't just rely on one person to do something for you. No matter how talented that one person is, you want like other people to be in your corner, to be working with you, so you have like a whole team of people you can work with, and you're not limited to like one particular sound or one
definitely.
thing like that. And usually that's how most albums are made anyway. Like, not one person, one solo person produced one track. It's
Oh
always
yeah.
multiple hands on something. Teamwork makes the dream work.
If you look at the credits on the Beyonce album, she
Mhm.
has like 10 producers on each song.
That's
It's
ridiculous.
just
That's crazy.
insane. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, like you said, teamwork makes the dream work for sure. So I guess we talked about like every major thing that I would want to talk to you about. What is your goal for like the next year? What do you have to impart on everybody?
I started that writing adventure with Miles for Sync. So my goal is to have for the next year to have at least 10 finished songs that we've already submitted, um, which I think is super doable. I'm sure we'll like surpass that, but 10 is doable. Like, I know for sure I'll reach that goal. And then um, I am planning on like I want to do another photo shoot. Like, I've never done an official photo shoot, so I want to hire a photographer to get like shots for whatever project that I'll have coming out, that EP project. So I have real, really nice, crisp stuff that I can use. I want to update my website and get that all going. I have plans for merch when I start releasing the songs I'm working on that go like hand in hand with the singles EP project that I have. Like, I have designs and everything ready, and so getting that all set up through a distributor. So I've been looking at like Shopify. My friend also recommended another one to me, so getting that ready. I just really want to just focus on writing. Like, I love songwriting so much, even if it's not for myself, but I know that I need to start honing in on my solo stuff. So I'm really going to start focusing, or I really have already have started focusing on that, but actually getting it set for release, not just holding on to it and not sharing it with anybody.
Right. That's dope. Would you want to do like songwrite for other people then? Like like other people in the industry?
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I am dabbling in the idea of trying to pitch songs to other artists that I just wouldn't use for myself because I just doesn't resonate with me. They're
Yeah,
not bad songs. It's just I feel like somebody else could do it better. And so while I'm working with Miles, I'm like picking up from him that he's super super smart when it comes to like
everything.
just yeah, literally I
Yeah,
can't even pinpoint it. But
yeah,
I show him these songs I have in like my vault and he goes, "These are your throwaways?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You should be pitching these songs to other artists." And I was like, "How do you do that? Like, what? Like, how?" And so I'm gonna look into doing that because that really affirmed, like, he really affirmed that I could do something with it besides just toss it out.
that's
So
dope. Yeah, I'm actually a lyric writer as well. I started as a rapper, and so
that's cool.
I have tons of just like choruses and lines and stuff that I could never use just because they don't apply to me. But
Mm-hmm.
I wrote them, so I'm like, fuck, I would love to get into writing for other people.
Right.
That'd be amazing. Cause and for some reason, like I'll wake up. Does this ever happen to you? Where you'll just like wake up and song lyrics will already be there? You'll just
Yep.
like have them in your head and you just have to like write them down or like hum them into your phone or record them.
Yep. That happens to me all the time, especially when I'm driving.
Yep.
So I'll just be like driving and no radio on, but this melody is just there. I'll literally
Mhm.
hit the record on my voice memo while I'm driving. I'm just like singing it. And then
Yep.
I get to work and I'm just like, I have this for later. I'm going to write something to it. And it's really cool.
Yeah, that happened to me the other day where I mean, like it'll either be like I'll have like a studio session in a dream or like I'll just like I'll not even remember the dream, but I'll just wake up and a song lyric will be there. And I had like at 6 o'clock in the morning, I had to like hum this melody and like sing this lyric into my phone so I didn't forget it. And I have tons of those just laying around that like I don't even know what to do with because they don't really apply to my own life and I don't have anything anywhere to put them. So
Yeah. So the next step is like, how do you, how do we get these to the right
right,
people?
right. Yeah, and I need to talk to Miles because you know, I got a bunch of ideas that I need to pitch him as well. So is he managing you now, or are you just doing your own thing?
He did like in the past, but then we kind of like stopped that and I realized it was just a little easier for me to do it on my own. Um, but now we're just like what is it? Just like partners, like songwriting
Sweet,
partners. Yeah.
that's
But
amazing.
he's like my go-to if I have any questions about publishing or royalties or like contract anything. He's so freaking smart.
Oh yeah, it's
It's like a freaking
insane.
wizard.
Like I end up. I mean, every time I go to his house, it's been a while, but every time I stay there for like an extra 2 hours, just like listening to him talk about all this shit, and I'm just like
Mhm.
a sponge. And I mean, he's like 10 years younger than me, but I swear I learn so much more from him than he probably does from me because that dude is just a whiz kid. It's insane.
Right, and you can tell his heart's in the right place because he truly wants to help people, and I think
Absolutely.
that's where a lot of people's successes come from, like, sustaining success is
Yep.
when your intentions are true like that, like,
Yep.
you are doing it for other people, for a cause.
Yep.
That's yeah, we're just over here fangirling about
Right.
Miles.
About Kenny and Miles and
Yeah.
well, because we know so many dope people. And I mean, yeah, and then that's really why I started this podcast was to kind of get those names out there and to get, you know, all these different voices heard, you know, because there are so many smart and talented people that we know that the world needs to hear about, you know?
Mhm. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and you're one of those people. Because I feel like you're gonna do some big shit, and I can't wait to witness it. And I would love
Thanks.
to, however I can be a part of it, even just to be a fanboy. I would love to be a part of it.
Oh, actually, I actually like pitched this idea to Miles earlier and like about me asking you this question. um, but you know how you make sample packs to
Yeah.
sell?
Yep.
I've always wanted to make a voice sample pack of like basically like how Kiara did it. I don't know if you know
Oh
who
yeah.
she
Oh,
is.
absolutely. Yeah.
Like I don't know how to make a sample pack.
That would be sick.
It'd be so cool if we could like do a joint. I don't even know. I don't even know what it entails.
Yeah. 100%, we'll do that. Let's do it.
Yeah, fuck yeah, that's
It
awesome.
it would be it's so easy for me. Like it's like it's fun for me. Like I'll literally like I mean, basically the process is I'll probably unless you had like a song or whatever that you wanted me to chop up, I would probably just have like, either like a rough beat or like just even a click track and just have
Mhm.
you, do different runs of ad libs and stuff like that. And then I chop it up and, add effects, whatever. It's what I do for fun. Like I sit
Damn.
there like all day at my day job because I work at a group home. So I just sit there on my laptop and I'll like either be making samples or sorting my sample library. Like
That is so
my
cool.
my sample library is insane. Like it's the one thing that I brag about because like I spend an in and a ridiculous amount of time on it. I mean, it's crazy. So that's why, and that's another reason why I'm so itching to produce and do this stuff because I know that I have all of these sounds and abilities when it comes to that stuff. So absolutely, I would love to help you out with that.
Yeah, let's fucking do it. That's
Hell
so
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. Just let me know when you want to get started, and we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, you have to give me like the rundown of what I even have to do because I don't even know.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I'm just gonna bring the voice. That's it.
yeah. I'll give you like a step by step on everything and like how the process would go and stuff like that.
That's
So
amazing.
hell yeah. Well, hell yeah. We talked about a lot of great stuff. Any last words that you would like to leave everybody with?
Honestly, I think you should just live your life the way that you would feel most fulfilled if you were to die tomorrow. You'd be like, yeah, I lived a good life and I'm really happy of the things I brought into this world. I think that's the life you should be using or living. And if you ask yourself that question right now and the answer is like, no, I'm not bringing any value into the world with what I'm doing, then maybe reevaluate what you're doing right now and chase something or pursue something. Even if you still like work a full-time job, you can still like chase your passions. Like there's the only excuses we have are the ones like we create, you know? So
Absolutely.
just make sure you're bringing value into the world that makes you happy. And when you die, you know that you tried your best. And that's honestly the only thing I have left to say.
100%. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure to talk to you. You're an amazing individual. I'm a huge fan, and I hope that we work together a lot in the future.
Same. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Nice to meet you. Have a great night.
You too.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.